Original post April 2, 2023. Hi everyone. Not really familiar with Reddit and having an account, but saw this as an online forum for relationship advice and could use some input. I love my husband and he's an amazing man, but we have flaws like everyone else. We both aged out of foster care and met at a youth fulfillment program, basically a work camp that helps kids with no families learn the fundamentals for living, finances, and certificates, as needed. We were both 18 and stayed in contact after the program ended. He made it clear he liked me, but I was truly petrified of men at that point in my life due to past experiences and rejected him a bit harshly. I reached out to apologize and we became friends. Then a year or two later I saw he posted on Snapchat he was in my area. I asked if he would want to go on a date so I could practice being comfortable around guys and he agreed. He never made a move, never touched me, never made weird eye contact. If I said no, he didn't ask a second time, not even as a suggestion. We went on these platonic dates for months with nothing happening, and one day I asked for a hug and then asked for a kiss, and he asked me to be his girlfriend. We got married a year after and our 7-year anniversary is around the corner. We agreed we would not even think about having kids until we were older since both of us were the product of young parents. We've really just only focused on getting by using as little money as possible and saving up every dime to buy a house. Thankfully, we got our house a few months ago and we were both able to quit our second jobs and for the first time only work regular 9-to-5s. Yay! I've discovered I really like gardening and baking and I love having a real home. We have been discussing adding to our family by having a baby and I feel very ready to be a mom. Scared still, yes, but ready. But my husband brought up how sad I would be if I had to quit since I've worked so hard. I told him I had zero plans to quit, I would only take maternity leave. Plus, my company allows maternal and paternal remote options for 1 year after birth, so I can just work from home if needed. I know it's a lot to do with a newborn, but giving up the security of my paycheck is simply not an option. He told me this was what we worked for, to make our own perfect family opposite from what ours were like, and I was blindsiding him by changing my plans and I told him no plan has changed, I can have a career and be a mom. Plenty of women do it. He doesn't have to quit his job to be a dad, so why should I? He said it wouldn't work for a baby's needs and I told him okay, since I make more money than you do, why don't you quit and I go back to work remotely after healing from birth. That way we have both hands on deck and we don't have a severe loss of income, as I make $89,000 a year and he makes $52,000 a year. He mentioned that if I trusted him fully this shouldn't be a problem. I told him I trust him, but I don't trust our current economy, but I left out that I really do genuinely think quitting my job with no savings, wiped out by getting the house, and relying on a man is absolutely stupid. He had plans made previously with his parents and had to leave, so we said we would pick the conversation back up when he gets home, but he's very upset. Madder than I have ever seen him, and I don't understand why he just assumed I would quit. Not only do I not understand it, but it makes me trust him a lot less than I did yesterday. I have a bad habit of running for the hills when problems come up, and not going to lie, this is making me really nervous. Thank you for reading all of this if you have. I'm open ears to what could be going through his mind or why he is thinking like this, really just doesn't seem logical to me. He's been watching all of these videos of stay-at-home wives and girlfriends and I feel like this is influencing him a lot. Relevant comments. Comment 1. So, this is just my opinion. I think his childhood and upbringing trauma is playing into this a lot. This doesn't sound like a situation where he wants to control you like in some posts, but more like a situation where he has idealized what a perfect family might look like and so he wants to give his children that. You two need to go to couples counseling for a while. Figure it out with a therapist to help intercede and help him understand. Financial security is important. Hold off getting pregnant until you guys have been in couples therapy for 6 months or so and have begun working towards some common ground. As for him going off to meet his parents, is it possible having them back in your life is contributing to this need for a picture-perfect family? Just curious. OP. Thank you for this comment. I've been thinking about it for most of the day now. The parents he went to see are foster parents, but there are some legal issues going on and they had to release guardianship. He lived with them from 10 to 15 until ending up back in a group home and aging out, but they always stayed in contact, and he considers them as parents. But they never lost contact, so I'm not sure if that would be it, but he didn't start seeing them in person again until 2 to 3 years ago. I've never thought he was controlling, but we have talked in the past about this type of thing, and I have always told him I would never want to be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe, at most, until they're in elementary if he was making a lot more money, but we're not at the income level/networking level where I can get away with having 5-year gaps in my employment. Neither of us have attempted therapy again. and most of our experiences were less than pleasant with child services counselors, so I'll see if he's open to the idea. Update, July 18, 2023. It's been a few days since he came home and told me he met a girl at work and she's a better woman than me, and that she has a son already and will be a stay-at-home wife or girlfriend or whatever. He gets his happy ending, I guess. He texted me right before I got off work and asked me to pick up food from one of our usual date night spots. I got home and noticed his car had boxes in it and a woman I didn't know. I tried opening the door, but it was locked, and she just looked at me. What little was left of our savings, he took. And both of our cats. I didn't see this coming at all. I haven't told any of my friends yet. His adoptive parents have been dropping me off food that I can't even force myself to eat. I haven't cried yet. I'm kind of still in shock. I wish I had a family to run to. But for now, the internet has to do. I haven't answered any of his calls or texts. He keeps trying to check in, and asking if I'm okay. How the fuck would I be, okay? I never thought he would cheat. I asked him to promise if there was ever someone else, he would just tell me as soon as he knew, but they've been together for at least 6 months. So, while he was calling me selfish for not wanting to put in my 2 weeks and be a stay-at-home wife, he was dating her the entire time. Planning a future with her the entire time. I feel stupid. I should have taken everyone's advice more literally. When I asked him to go to therapy he wouldn't. His parents think he's had some type of mental break. I should have stayed afraid of him and avoided him. I should have chosen a better outcome for myself. I just feel like the same girl that no one wants to love anymore all over again. I know what he did isn't my fault, I know I could never stop him, and really do I want a man who doesn't want me? Never. But that just doesn't stop it from hurting. Relevant comments. Comment 1. He wanted you to be reliant on him and didn't want you to be smart enough to find out about his affair. See if you can dig up more info about his side chick. Go nuclear on them both. You are still young, you can find a new love. OP, once I found out she was 20 I stopped caring. Their karma will come one day on its own. I doubt I would be able to stop myself from having to do hard time in prison if I ever see them again. Comment 2. Let's be real, she grabbed onto him with her kid, and he'll leave her just as fast as he left up when he realizes he doesn't actually want what he thinks he wants. Mostly because he'll realize it's not what he thinks or it's way too hard for him to do. OP. His mom called me and is already coordinating for dropping the cats back off to me. He didn't know his new girlfriend is allergic. At least I get a little laugh already lol. Comment 3. If he didn't even know that, imagine what other surprises he's going to discover. What did he do? Just grab the first woman who would agree with his idea of what a relationship looks like and say, she'll do? Update 2, July 27, 2023. Really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of the people who reached out to me with well wishes. Especially other spouses who experienced similar, it helped so much more than you could ever know. There have been a few things that have happened, and honestly, I'm exhausted in every way possible, so the input from folks has really been useful in organizing my thoughts and keeping an open mind. I couldn't help it but for days I compared us and wondered what the fuck he could have been thinking until I realized she's a carbon copy of his biological mother, or at least the stories he heard about her since she died when he was 5. I hate that I feel bad for him still, even after what he's done, but we offered him support for his thoughts, we urged him to go to therapy, I even offered to pay for it myself, and he was too prideful. I lost both of my parents too, at an older age with even more core memories of them, so it wasn't a boat he was in alone. But he chose to act like it was and wallow in self-pity. He called me on our 7-year wedding anniversary, minutes after midnight, whispering apologies and saying he feels so guilty. I asked for what, and he just said, well, you know what we're going through. I told him, no, it's what you're doing. We are going through nothing. I was abandoned by my husband, exposed to God knows what while you were fucking her and coming back home to me. We were still having sex like every single day, so I made sure he knew just how disgusting I thought he was. Then he got pissed and told me he only started cheating because I couldn't follow his lead? Sir, look where you led yourself. Our entire marriage I've pushed him career-wise, hell, the job he is right now I applied to on his behalf. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, or didn't even know what my full job title is. I pushed him to reach out to the adoptive parents when he started getting family obsessed, but neither of us were ready for a kid. He went on about how I broke my promise first when I decided I didn't want to be a real mom by not quitting. That I was turning his adoptive parents against him because they are refusing to meet his new girlfriend. He blamed me again and then had the nerve to say that this could all be put on pause if I can learn how to make decisions that benefit a family and not myself. I asked point blank if he was insinuating that we could get back together if I quit my job. He told me, "Yes, I will always love you, but you make things more difficult than needed." I hung up and blocked him on everything. Spent the rest of the night hugging wine in the bathtub and wondering what the hell kind of person I had been sharing my heart with. The next day he went public with their relationship, posting a photo to Instagram, and most of our mutual friends reached out, with my closest friends commenting less than kind things on the photo. As it turns out, he and his new girlfriend have been together for almost 8 months. She is 20, her son is around 2. I reached out to her ex, the father of her son, who she had left to be with my ex-husband. She moved out in the middle of the day and took their kid, so he was just as blindsided, if not more, than I was. We met up and went for a walk, then stopped by a bar. Literally cried, laughed, hugged each other, sang songs way too loudly, and sobbed in public like a lunatic, but it helped so much. We also made sure to exchange evidence for any court battles. I'm a little iffy towards him for now, considering that they had quite the age gap. She was 17 when they met, and he was 26. He said she lied about her age, and they met at a college party, and then the next thing he knew she was pregnant. He gave her money for an abortion, but she came back with baby clothes instead, so he tried to do the right thing and moved her in with him. Also, she's not actually allergic to cats. She just hates them. She also was very aware he was married and has been to the house multiple times. He admitted he had cheated on her before their son had been born, while she was pregnant, but that she didn't tell him she knew until after she had moved out with their son. He said he was still texting her every day, not just about their son, but also about possibly working things out. He wants her back, but she seems to be head over heels for my husband, just like I was. I told him good luck, but yeah, not the direction I'm going in at all. This time he made his bed, and he will lay in it for good. Our chances of reconciliation are 0. I have never accepted someone back into my life after a betrayal, and it won't start now. At first, I wanted to make sure the divorce was going to be short and as simple as possible, even if it meant giving up some things, but after that conversation, I have decided I'm fighting tooth and nail for everything I can possibly get. I live in a no-fault divorce state, but my state does have special laws for adultery, and the divorce attorney I've consulted said it looks pretty good that I won't have to pay him alimony. He also told me to look into every single banking transaction in my accounts, as he did not think they got an apartment on his income without some extra cushion, aka my money, and he was right. Last year my ex-husband told me he got really into stock trading and if he could invest some of my money as well. Guess who was never doing any stock trading, and the screenshots he showed me were all fake/pulled from somewhere else, and he had been sending that money to his girlfriend or saving it for their new place. I've been pretty enraged since finding that out. He asked his adoptive parents to ask me to allow him visitation rights to see the cats, after he had to give them back once he realized his new GF is allergic to them. I relayed that he needs to first run me my fucking money, and then take it up with the judge. I didn't think visitation was a real thing for pets, but according to my lawyer, it very much is. I officially filed for divorce yesterday, and he emailed me quite a colorful email about how selfish and bitter I am for not putting my pride aside and being so fast to file for divorce and refusing to let him stop by the house to see the cats that now he's accusing me of cheating. I read somewhere that you never really know someone until you're divorcing them, and I can truly confirm that is true. I felt like you guys deserve some sort of update considering how much support I was given. I can't share more details for now, but really thank you all again. New post, Sept 11, 2023. I was stupid and got married at 23. We met in a foster youth program. Long story short, I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom since I was the breadwinner. He found someone younger and dumber who would. I had to pick up another job to make sure I'd be able to afford the house on my own. But when my regional lead for my main job heard about it, they gave me a promotion that actually cut down my work time and gave me more money. I still kept the second job. It keeps my mind busy. Most of my workdays were spent in collars and heels, but the side job is an overpriced membership-only gym that I definitely can't afford without my employee discount. I've had a few guys approach since I filed the divorce paperwork, but I just wasn't feeling up to it. And even though I stopped wearing my ring the day he moved out, I still felt guilty. Like I was betraying him. He was the only man I've ever been with, so spending a decade learning everything about one person, and now having to switch gears is really damn hard. But, one of the guys I see often at the gym asked if I'd be his date to a seminar he's sponsoring. I said no at first, and he accepted the no very gracefully. I saw him a few days later, sparked up some conversation, and asked if maybe we could try a lunch date, just us, first. I was fully prepared for him to tell me nope, "You're too late," but he instead cancelled the plans he had already made. We met up a few hours later and honestly, my face hurt from laughing and smiling so much. He's a pretty charming man and has a lot of random knowledge about safari animals that gives me the same comfort that watching animal documentaries does. He asked me out for a dinner date the next day, and when he let me know he was in my neighborhood earlier that day, I asked if he wanted to stop by and grab a breakfast sandwich before I left for work. I have a 9-year-old cat who hates like 99% of people, but she loved him and even let him touch her belly. He dropped me off lunch at work and we met up for dinner, and ever since we've been texting almost non-stop. I've never felt this comfortable with someone so fast in my life. It's scary, but I've already told him that we're separated. I haven't told him the nitty-gritty details, just that it didn't work out and we outgrew each other. But the seminar was this past weekend, and I went as his date. It was a great night. I tried champagne for the first time, had the best conversations with some of his associates, and did a little professional networking too. The tomboy teenage girl I used to be would never believe this shit lol, but more than anything I'm grateful for the support of my friends, who got me through the tough nights so I could make it to the good ones. Only up from here, I guess. Relevant comments. Comment 1. My advice: your pets know you sometimes better than yourself. I have several. But my point is, go for it at a comfortable pace. Your cat gave him the green light. So do baby steps and let this bond grow. I'd be an asshole to keep going because you are obviously smart, so go have fun and let life give you what you need. This guy sounds like a winner in my book. OP. Oh, we will be keeping it completely casual. I don't want this bond to grow too much. I think it would be a bit tacky for us to date either way, for other reasons. It's just nice to have someone to laugh and smile with. I plan on being single for sure for at least the next 3 years. I owe it to myself. Story 2. I told my mom how jealous I am of my half-siblings and now she won't stop crying. Original, December 2, 2022. I 16 male was born to my mom when she was 15 and I've never known my real dad. My mom didn't drop out of school or anything in the year after I was born. She started dating Jack, and when they went to university, I obviously got left behind with my grandparents. Mom and Jack got good degrees, got married, and moved to a city near Vancouver. My mom's always been in my life. She would still come home every weekend just to cuddle with me and would always give me these nicknames, but calling me her special guy would be her favorite one. She'd always bring me back presents and gifts and spend the whole time playing with me. She's the one who paid for my tutoring and after-school stuff and would try and make it to games and stuff like that. Jack wouldn't always come with her, but it was always fun when he would. He's taken me fishing with him a lot of times and we even went camping for 2 weeks together once, but never again because I hate camping. But when I was 10, my mom and Jack had a daughter and then another girl 3 years ago. I don't really know them, especially because my mom stopped coming over as much after they were born. We don't cuddle anymore. We did on my birthday, but that's it. No more cute nicknames for me except for special guy. It's like they all got transferred to her daughters. No more gifts, and the worst part is she doesn't come to my games anymore. It was okay with me before because they still had a spare room in their house, and I could go there when it's time for university. Yesterday, my mom FaceTimed, and she had a big announcement that she was going to have another baby and it was a boy, and now she'd have 2 special guys. I guess she saw how sour my face was because she asked what's wrong, and I don't know, I just admitted how jealous I was that her daughters got her so much and now her son was going to get her and there wouldn't even be space for me there when I had to go to university. And I guess what I said affected her because she started crying and wouldn't stop and had to hang up. My grandparents are mad that I made her upset and think I don't value them now or something. Jack phoned me and he's mad because my mom thinks it's a mistake now to have another kid, and also mad at me because he was like, why would I ever think they wouldn't have room for me? I feel like I really messed up telling her that, and here I am at school, writing about it on Reddit because I can't stop thinking about it. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Why do you continue to live with your grandparents? OP, she told me that everybody, and a child psychologist that I don't really remember, advised her to leave me with my grandparents because they were all I'd known, and it might do more damage to take me away. She said she was going to pay for my university. She and Jack showed me the savings account that they have set aside for my tuition. She said that she thought it would do damage to take me away from my grandparents since living with them was all I'd known. I remember going to see the psychologist with her, but I don't really remember the sessions or even what that lady looked like. So, I feel like she might have consulted me then, but it was so many years ago. Jack's not mad at me that my mom was crying or anything, he's just mad in general that she said that. He was mad at me because of what I said about them not having space for me when it's time for university, because he was like, you know, we love you, You shouldn't think that. And I tried talking to my grandparents. But they just ended up ranting and giving a list of everything they've done for me and that I should be grateful. I don't know, I'm not a write a letter kind of guy. I wish I could see her so I could just talk about it with her. Comment 2, tell us more about your grandparents. OP, I tried talking to my grandparents about it yesterday, but they just went into a rant about all the things they've done for me that I should be grateful for. And it's not like I'm not grateful. I get them things for Mother's Day and Father's Day and Valentine's Day and everything else. They were also like, when I'm a parent I'll understand that all my mom's done is put me ahead. I guess so. I mean, they're really old-fashioned and they had my mom really late and have talked about how they spoiled her and how she was their favorite out of all their kids. So, I just don't know how to reach out to them because they're always really defensive of my mom. Comment 3, did anyone ever ask what you wanted, in terms of living arrangements? OP, no, I've never had a conversation like that. I guess the closest was Jack telling me one day that maybe I'd be able to come over more often instead of just for family photos, but it never really happened. Comment 4, tell us more about Jack. He didn't say I didn't have the right to tell my mom how I feel. He was upset that I thought they wouldn't have room for me because he was like I should know that they love me and would always have room for me. They've known that I wanted to move in with them for university for a while because they have a free room and they've said that's my room. So, he was upset at me thinking that they wouldn't give me that room since they're having another baby. So, he was kind of upset because it seemed to him that I was doubting that he loved me and that he'd just give away something that's mine. Jack's not mad at me, he made that much clear to me and I probably should have made it clear in my post. He's just upset because I guess he's thinking that I thought that he doesn't love me. I haven't talked to my mom at all since the phone call because apparently, she hasn't stopped crying. I texted her good morning and I love you and I got an I love you so much back, but that's it. I wish I could talk to my grandparents about it because I am grateful, and I do love them both. But I don't know how to. Comment 5, what happened to your biological father? OP, I don't know anything about my real dad. I asked my grandparents before when I was younger, and they just got mad and told me not to ask. When I was 13, I tried to talk to my mom, but she got really sad and just said she wasn't ready yet and to give her some time. I did think about asking her again about him, but I didn't want her to be sad again, so I haven't. Update, December 6, 2022. So, I posted on Friday at school and when I came home, my mom and Jack, and their kids were already there talking to my grandparents. As soon as my mom saw me, she gave me such a big hug she actually lifted me up for a second, which is weird because I am taller than her now, and then wouldn't stop kissing me on the face and telling me she loves me. I said hi to everyone and my grandparents had my mom take me into my room to talk to me alone. In my room, she told me she was sorry that I felt like she'd been paying me less attention and that a new baby isn't going to replace me, and I'd always be her special guy. I started crying so we weren't able to talk until I calmed down and then Jack came in and joined us. I just admitted that I felt like I wasn't that important to my mom anymore and if they were having a boy then there would be no point in them taking me when it's time for university. And then Jack left because he kind of started crying hearing me say that and that was weird. My mom told me that she wanted to take me when I was 13 and going into high school because she thought that was the best time to do it. Except she argued with my grandparents about it a lot and they said it was best if I stayed with them. Then when my mom took me to a game, she saw how much fun I was having with my friends and thought they were right. When I said I wanted to go to SFU she and Jack were happy because it meant I would be with them when I graduated. When I asked about the spare room that was meant to be mine, she admitted that they hadn't thought about what would be the baby's room and would have to figure something out since they aren't giving up my room. My mom told me she'd come and take me every weekend because she said it was wrong that she started paying less attention to me but thought it was okay because I was independent and had my grandparents. She said that she wanted me to spend my breaks with them as well. I don't want to leave my high school, but my mom said I could do that for my grad year if I wanted to move in with them earlier. I did have a talk with Jack too and he told me that he was glad I confessed everything and that his parents got mad at him for not telling me that when he called me. We did all have a fun weekend together and I do want weekends to keep being like that. I don't know if I'm allowed to keep doing updates here so this might be the only one. But hopefully, this will help calm down everyone who keeps messaging this account for one. Seems like a good ending for once, but no one asked OP what he wanted for 16 years. Like he has been able to make his own decisions for a long time now. And no one decided to consult him? Anyway, that's all for this video, so have a great day and I will see you in the next one.